Hey, my friends. Hey, do you feel that you have to be busy all the time? And if you're not busy, you might get a little nervous or looking for something to do so that you can ease your nervous system and not feel that it is agitated and not really connected inside. Very, very common. It's been one of my biggest challenges actually to just really not be so identified with being busy. And that's why I stopped a lot many years ago, like 5 years ago or something. I just saw through it. It was like, wow, what is this about? That I have to be busy all the time. And it's kind of a program that runs in the back of most people's minds. And if you look into the world, you'll notice that everybody is always really busy. They're always going somewhere and they're speaking really fast. And, they can't watch maybe, like if you do YouTubes, you'll notice that there's something called shorts, and they're about a minute long. Maybe they're a little longer now because that's the attention span that we have. Is like a minute is actually even a long time. We have been completely wired and programmed to be on this go, go, go mode. And most people don't even know it consciously. They may complain about it or feel that they don't really want it that way, but underneath it's really hard to let it go. And I really am speaking from my own experience. I had to take such a deep dive into it, and just to really help rewire my nervous system and my brain. And I can still feel that tendency. It's as if it's always there telling me, you have to do something. You have to work harder. You can't just sit here. This is the programming from the Matrix, and it is strong. So I want to just again shine light on something that most of us are doing this, and we're not really aware of it. And I actually wrote a poem about this. This is a number of years ago, the link here, and also a link for my blog post. That poem is called Are You Too Busy? I think it's called Are You Too Busy? And then one of the sentences, which I think is so cool, are you too busy to even notice that you are too busy? And that I think is what we are in. We are so hyper wired that we do not question it. But then when you stop, or something makes you stop, it could be, it is an illness, something big happening in your life that you simply have to stop that go, go, go and tend to this. And that's where a lot of this energy, this busy, stressed, anxious energy can come up to the surface so it can be met. What is not uncommon though is when that happens, that people take that energy and drive it into this whatever other thing they're doing. Rest and stillness are not the most common commodities in this world, if you haven't noticed that. So, just again, I always like to invite my viewers to just do a little internal check and just feel, do you feel stressed? Do you feel like, okay, Pernilla, speak faster so we can get to the end, so I can watch the next video, or I can get to this thing, it's a drive, and it's not who we are. It is not our natural state. But most of us just feel this like, I have to do something. I have to be busy all the time. It's not a conscious thing. It's very much an unconscious drive until we make it conscious. And that is, of course, my invitation for you today to really take a look at it. And then once you see it, right, when we bring awareness to something, then we can choose. Then we have the awareness we need to choose, to do maybe some critical internal thinking about it, take a good look at it. And then we can ask ourselves, well, is that really what I want? You may say yes. Go and do it as long as you enjoy it, right? Or you might be in a situation where you're so tightly strapped financially, let's say you have to do like 2 or 3 jobs a month in order to be able to pay your bills. And that's a very sad situation that many, many people are in, especially as prices keep rising. And, just to barely survive, we have to be in this stress mode. Now, I want to say this, you may agree or not, that is definitely one of the ways that the matrix keeps us trapped in the matrix. It's one of the really tricky tricks, to just like keep pulling you in because survival, you need to survive. The matrix is all about survival. And that's why we need to little by little start pulling ourselves out of it. If you can't pull yourself out of it physically, which is very possible, and I have a lot of compassion for all those people who are so trapped, so tightly strapped in the matrix that they can't see a way out of it. They may have done a lot of the calculations, how I'm going to do this, cut this out, maybe not get that, but get that. That's not a way to live. And I want to just say it in a way to just maybe touch that part in all of us that knows that. It's like, no, this is not how it's meant to be. We're not meant to live here so stressed out that we have to completely um, deny our own natural needs in order to survive. But my friends, this is what the Matrix has done or is doing and is about. When you start pulling out of it, even if it's just for a short while, I'm not saying, just, stop paying your bills. I'm not saying that. That is something that has come very naturally as an unfolding inside as we release our identity from our survival identity from the matrix. Not an easy task, absolutely. But we can start where we are. And that would mean just observe it. Just ask yourself the question, because we need to engage something in us. We need to engage our soul sense. When you feel your soul sense, that's the one we feel when we say, oh, that makes sense. It's something you feel inside. And when you say, no, that doesn't make sense, it's because it's not resonating with your soul sense. And so if we can start right there and say, okay, working my butt off 7 days a week, 24/7, and barely have enough, just enough to survive, no time to enjoy life, relax, meditate, go into deep prayer, no time for that, just go, go, go. That doesn't make sense, does it? Is that a world, a divine world that we all long for? That's not how the divine set it up. That is how the matrix set it up. And that reminds me of this Bible quote, um, if I'm saying it right, that when we left the Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden being the field, the divine field that is everywhere, inside and out, is the one that Rumi talks about in his poem, Beyond Wrongdoing and Right Doing, There is a Field. I'll meet you there. That's what I'm talking about. So that's the Garden of Eden. So when we left the Garden of Eden, we basically left the field and entered into the matrix The matrix is the mind of duality, of struggling and striving and suffering and good and bad and up and down, right and wrong, all that stuff. That is all the matrix. And that is where the shift needs to happen. It's not going to happen out here without it first happening inside. So my invitation is how how does that feel inside of you that we have to just work our butt off all the time in order to survive or barely make it? Does that sound right? I hope not. I hope not, because it doesn't. That's not how we are meant to live when we are in our natural state. And we want to come back to our natural state, and that is not found in the matrix. In the matrix, there's bills to be paid and taxes to be paid and all these stuff. It's all matrix stuff. We can't just stop that, can we? Well, some people do, and they can actually get away with it. They have found ways to still stay in the legal, um, and do it in a way that they won't get in trouble. But that's a whole other road that I don't want to go into right now. I want to really help you engage with that something inside of you that knows, like that doesn't feel right. There's something off here. If we can stay with that knowing, then you are present in your soul sense, in your source connection. And then the more we can go back there, we got to show, well, what is true? What does make sense? Because I cannot see it out here. There's just go, 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 do, do, do. And I have no idea how to stop. Now I would call it, this is right prayer, where you just go into that sense like, this does not make sense. This is not right. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. And I don't want to do it anymore, but I don't know what to do about it. This is the place to stay now. Really stay and come back too often and say, show me God, or show me whatever you call the divine. Show me what is true. That is a prayer, a very simple prayer that I heard many, many years ago from Joel Goldsmith. It's like, you do not go out there and say what is true about this, because there isn't anything true about it. It's an illusion, it's a matrix, it's a simulation that is not aligned. It's a different frequency. So that's why we can't go and ask what is true about this. Well, it's true on that dimension. This is how this functions in the third dimension. But you can't find the truth of the divine there. You can only find that in here. So that would be my invitation to really take that deep into yourself as a place of deep listening and opening up to be shown, well, how can we live without this do, 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 busy, busy, busy? Does that make sense? So when we live there in that place, and this is what I really think is so important for all of us right now, is that we go there a lot to start tuning in more and more to the field, to the divine field, where the answers are already, they're already there. The solutions are already there. But here's the trick, right? When we're so driven into this world and we're so busy, that means we do not have time to go in and ask what is true and tune into the field. And that is one of the trickiest things, I think, of the matrix, that it's like it makes us cut off from what is true and what we know is true. But we're so identified with the survival out there in the matrix that we simply do not go back here. It's part of the matrix. The matrix really is the whole separate sense of self, the separate self that is, it is the sense of self that is separate from God. That to me is the illusion. And that's why when you're there, you're not connected to the divine, or you're very little connected. You're just rushing around there. So we need to make a conscious effort and a conscious choice to take time to go in here. If you're too busy to do that and take that time, I would say, don't believe that. That's a trick of the matrix to keep you there, right? It's very, very tricky, guys. It's very, very tricky. So you need to be able to see through it. Hang out with people who at least have taken a step back and can see it for what it is. It's like, oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. And then at some point you might say, that's a lie. I'm going to go in here and ask for the answer to be shown to me, how to live my life here in this dimension, but not identified with the matrix. That's the transition we're in. I don't know how it's all going to look, but the more we tune in, the more the answers will come. And it is happening to many people, but probably not enough where we can really make a shift to open up to the new way, so we can let go of, the bills and the taxes and all the shoulds and shouldn'ts, and how the rules and the regulations and the governments and the, oh my God, it's endless. It's all part of the matrix. So my friends, if you feel stuck in that, pause, take a deep breath, and honor the part in you that does not want to live like that anymore. The part that knows that this is not how it is supposed to be. And just admit that, but I don't know how to live then. It's a very, very powerful prayer. Show me how to live. And then come back there regularly. Even if you are busy working, you can always take some part of your consciousness and stay open to the field, so that you can always receive, the inspiration or the insights, because they're always here. The only thing that's been missing is that we have connected with it. But that we can do, and we must do. Otherwise, you'll just be totally identified and stay identified in the matrix, and you will go down with it. The matrix is has ended. You may have seen my video, Rest in Peace Matrix. It has ended, but we are still completely wired, wired. Our nervous system is still so wired. So let us start pulling back and go to a place where the answers already are. All right. Take a deep breath and open up to what is more true to you.